Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Residents of Evil. Thank you all so much for joining us for our discussion, part 2 of Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. My name is JJ, and today I am joined by our road team member, Corey.
Hello.
And thank you guys all so much for coming by. So as you know, we put out our official review. We had an amazing experience. We got to meet up with the guys from Biohazard Declassified, Kai from Ink Ribbon, Susie the Sphere Hunter. We flew out to watch the movie. We did the premiere. It was an amazing experience. Aside from the movie. So we're going to actually, what this stream is today is we're going to elaborate more on our thoughts about the movie. Some of the aspects we discussed, we had so many people in that stream. It was a lot of fun, but we didn't really get to go fully into detail. So we're going to touch on that a little bit more today. And also for all the support we got during that, thank you so much. We were unable to read all the super chats. So today we're going to be catching up with those as well. Now, there is going to be spoilers, so if you have not seen Welcome to Raccoon City and you do not want to be spoiled, you could turn off now and just watch it again later. But we appreciate you guys coming by. Thank you so much. And like I said, if you guys want to really catch all of our thoughts, the whole row team with everybody else, check out that video. This is just going to be sort of a companion video to that.
Yeah.
We got a lot of people here. Thank you so much. The one and only W with a $2. Appreciate that. Sheva needs to come back. I like Sheva. So we're just gonna kind of go over our thoughts, elaborate a little bit more on it, and then we're gonna come back to all the super chats. So I'll start. So when this movie was first announced, honestly, I was excited because I felt a little burnt after the Paul W.S. Anderson movies. Now, some people like those and some people don't. That's fine. That's irrelevant. I was excited to see something new. I thought, whatever they do, it'll be nice to see, another, basically a reboot. As time went on and we began getting photos, I got really excited because the photos looked very faithful. They announced that they were going to be doing a much more faithful adaptation and they were going to be using the stories from the games. And personally, I would have loved to see something different, like an Outbreak scenario where you have survivors banding together to try to survive the horrors that take place in Raccoon City. Sort of like The Mist. That's kind of what I always wanted. But when they announced they were doing the games, I was like, okay, this can work. This looks very faithful. I'm getting excited. The more I see, the more excited I'm getting. Then time went on and we got nothing. It went radio silent. We weren't getting any promotion, and that's when I started to get a little worried. I was like, okay. At first, this was going really strong. There was photos coming out consistently from the sets. We see the RPD, we see the Spencer Mansion.
And then they pushed it back, too.
And then they pushed it back, and I was like, okay, so we're not getting anything, and now they're pushing it back. What's going on?
Right.
I do remember with the other movies we got years ago, there was more promotion. So that got me worried, but that was a good thing because that then put my expectations in check. I lowered my expectations, I maintained my hype levels, and I went into this movie with very low expectations. I was hoping to get a more faithful retelling than what we've already got. I wasn't expecting, this is the best movie of the year, or this is amazing storytelling.
I don't think anybody was.
No, I don't think so. And I still felt let down after watching it with those expectations.
Very disappointed.
Yeah,
I had low expectations too.
Yeah. Overall, okay. As I said in my initial review, there are moments that I did like in this movie. There were a few things that stood out that I really enjoyed. But overall, the movie as a whole, I did not like it. And there was quite a few reasons that contribute to that. We have notes here that we're going to be going through. But overall, at the very end of the movie, I believe I looked at you and I was like, I didn't like it.
We both said that.
Yeah, I didn't like it, and I wanted to. I was trying so hard to like it, and I just didn't like it.
I know.
But if you guys do enjoy the movie, please don't give people a hard time. We can all have varying opinions.
Yeah.
Obviously, when we did our review, there were some that liked it, and there was others that didn't like it, and some in the middle. So it's okay if you liked it. That's awesome. I'm happy for you. And if you didn't like it, that's cool too. Don't give people that did like it a hard time.
Right.
We can all enjoy it in our own way. And
I like hearing the opposite opinions too.
I do too. Obviously, we both didn't like it, so it's going to be a little one-sided today.
A little bit, yeah. I like some things you didn't like, though, too.
That's true. But yeah, that makes good discussion. Just be nice to one another. And I do say, if I had to say, I do think as a Resident Evil fan, I think it's worth watching to formulate your own opinion.
100%.
If you weren't a fan of the series, don't bother. Don't, but you won't like, if you're not a fan of the Resident Evil series, you probably won't even like this movie at all. You won't get it. There's a lot of references and Easter eggs and all that stuff that Resident Evil fans get. But if you're not a fan at all, just don't even bother with it. If you are a fan, I think check it out if you have the means.
I'm actually really curious to hear a non-fan watch the movie.
Me too. I haven't actually watched a review from somebody that isn't normally in my feed. Yeah, you know what I mean. But yeah, so that's my overall sort of lead up to it, and then I'll get into a little bit more. But Corey, what was kind of your lead up going into this movie?
I mean, I was kind of trying to get my expectations low, but then it was hyping me up, like you said too.
Yeah.
For a while there.
Yeah.
I was actually super hyped when those trailers first dropped.
I didn't even bring that up. When the trailer came, I was like, okay, I'm kind of back on board with this.
Yeah.
I do know that was mixed though too.
A lot of people hated the first trailer, but they liked that second trailer.
The second trailer had such a better tone.
It was cooler.
It was more fitting to Resident Evil, I think.
100%.
The second trailer. If you guys didn't see that,
the first trailer just as much in my opinion.
I
knew they were gonna go that different route, so I was like, oh, cool. You know, it fits their different route. Now, you know.
And I was actually very open to the idea of, because obviously if you adapt a book or a game, it's never going to be one-to-one. We've seen this so many times before in media. So I was open to a new take as well.
100%.
I think the execution is where it kind of failed.
Yeah.
But then, the whole event getting, the movie aside, the event getting to meet everybody and going to the premiere of the movie was absolutely fantastic. 10 out of 10.
Amazing.
Yeah, but the movie itself, oof. So now with the movie, I did give my initial review before, but I will again. Again, there was aspects I liked. I think the locations, seeing the Spencer Mansion, seeing the RPD.
That was my probably favorite part of the whole thing.
That was
the props, the sets.
Yeah, the props and the sets. That was the good. So we're gonna go through the quick few things we did like, and then we're gonna get into all the things that made this a bad movie.
Not all of it. That'll take too long.
No, that'll take too long. But I like the sets. I like the locations. The original soundtrack was great, especially every time they showed like kind of a big area. It had this like
they all had their own setting.
Yeah, it had like the score though went so well with it, where it had like sort of
the orphanage where they had that little
music. How do you feel like an opera kind of? Yeah. It gave me chills. I like that. I like the seeing the locations and the score that went with it. But then it leads into the problems with this movie. The pacing is terrible.
Yeah,
there is way too much going on and way too little time. And I don't think with the time they have, they utilize their time wisely. I think there's a lot of shots that linger on for too long.
Way too long.
I think
a lot of useless shit they threw
There's
in there.
A lot of useless things that could have been cut out and used, properly. I think the fan service, while fan service is great, it gets too much. The fan service in this kind of does it for the sake of fan service, and
but
not
then if
necessarily.
They don't put enough in there, we're gonna complain about it too, though. Kind of. At least I would.
I don't know.
I'd rather have too much than not enough.
I think
honestly.
if you had proper script writing and pacing,
I know,
that excelled, I think that some of the fan service could take a back seat.
You're right.
And again, it just goes to the point that I think a lot of this is fan service for the sake of fan service.
Hey.
And it doesn't add to the overall movie other than, hey, we got that thing you remember from the games? Remember that? We got that in here. Hey, look, we're going to show you 5 more times so we know
the games. Yeah. We know them.
And I don't mean this to be
we're not being dicks.
A bitching rant, but but we're going to be honest and give you kind of, our take on it. So then, the pacing is just way too much going on, too little time. Improper use of the time they do have. Cramming 1 and 2 into one movie and elements from other games like Code Veronica.
That was the dumbest mistake I think they could ever made.
That was a huge mistake.
Like, why not? Don't they want to make more to make more money? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. And I think about it like, okay, now just take this premise, right? Let's just take this premise of the Stalker Mr. X and the Resident Evil 2 remake. Mm-hmm. The difference between him and 2, which was great, and then the 2 remake where he was completely excelled as this stalker character. You're very terrifying, intense. Every time he would show up, you'd hear the boots clomping. Yeah. Now imagine a horror take on Resident Evil 2 where Claire and Leon are literally working together while he is in pursuit of them, breaking through walls. Like, that's a solid premise for a horror movie.
Had the story perfect.
The game had the story perfect. And then, going from the pacing to the script writing, I feel like a child wrote the script. It got so bad to.
I think like one of us would have made that script. I mean,
I'm not a script writer, so I agree.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not all bad, but for the most part, there's a lot of lines where, "Fuck Raccoon City," and I think the only line Brad Vickers has in the movie is "Fuck you guys" or something like that. Like, that's all he says. And
he says something else too when he's in the helicopter.
He might.
I think he says
okay. He says That's his second line.
He says something else. So
and there's not enough time to properly.
Spoilers, by the way, everybody.
Yeah, again, spoilers. There's not enough time to properly flesh out the characters. and the script writing doesn't add, it doesn't help anything at all. But no, the thing is, we got too much going on in too little time, and there's too many different characters, and because of that, their character building suffers, and that's a big thing, is character building, right? You want to see that arc, you want to see the hero's journey, or you want to see something.
It started off good with Leon. Like,
It did.
I was like, oh, good. They're you're gonna slowly.
I think we'll
Lean
get into
yeah,
Leon because they're It started off just like
I was happy the first couple of scenes, the whole beginning too. Sorry,
the whole beginning. Yeah, no, the whole beginning too. But yeah, so because of those elements that I just explained, and the third act, man, that was just so rushed. And at that point, honestly, in the movie, I was like, I don't even fucking care. Like, just whatever, do
That's
it.
when I went and got candy. I was falling asleep, so I had to go get some Sour Patch Kids.
It just, at the end, it just, it excelled as far as like the fast. Yeah. And because of that, overall, I did like a few elements, but overall, the film as itself was bad. I think if some people can put aside character building, pacing, script writing,
The most important things that are in a movie.
if you can put those four things aside, you may be able to turn your brain off and enjoy this movie. And the reason why it sucks is because I know that if this doesn't do well, which honestly I don't want to see it do well, because we're going to get more of...
I wanted to before it came out. I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to like it.
I mean...
We all did. I'm going to cry.
What I'm trying to say is, I do feel like if this doesn't do well, we may not see a reboot ever again.
Right.
Because the series is already going for 25 years.
And I think it's tanking, actually, at the box office, isn't it?
It was, but we didn't get the overseas, because it didn't open yet until
like now.
Tomorrow. Yeah. So overseas, it doesn't open until tomorrow. So, I don't want to see it. It's tough because it's not that I don't want to see it do well. It's just this. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
I don't want them to make another one like this.
Yeah, I would rather see something else. Try something else. But at the same time, I know if it doesn't do well, we probably won't get another thing.
I get what they were trying to do, and I was kind of appreciative with the route that I thought they were trying to go with it.
Yes, and I think that's where we can kind of go. We can circle back around now. So
what has this director done before this?
47 Meters Down.
That's a good movie.
I don't know.
Is that the one with James Franco?
It's the one with the shark.
Oh, I'm thinking of the one with James Franco where he's in the crevice.
No idea. That's like 23 days or something. But anyways, completely different.
Hi.
Okay, so now, do you want to kind of go over your overall with like what worked and didn't work, or do you want to just go into like going?
Let's kind of just go on.
Let's go off our list here.
Yeah, we kind of.
And again, guys, we're elaborating on our review we already done, and then we're going to get into our super chat catch up from our previous live stream. We didn't have time to read them all, so we're going to be going into that and all the super chats right now. Thank you. We're going to be going into those as well. Actually, let me pull this down here just until we're done discussing, and then we'll pull that up.
So wait, real quick though, I know I'm really ADD, but did Paul Anderson actually have anything to do with the movie? Or
he was a producer.
Did he actually have anything to do with it, or are you just making the money off it?
I wasn't there, but I think because it's Constantine Films and he has a hand in. Because it's Constantine Films and he has a hand in Constantine, I think that his name is attached.
He just has royalties or whatever from it.
Yeah, I think that it's just his company. I think
he probably bought the rights to the movies or whatever. Yeah,
but I don't think he had any hand in it.
Okay, just his name in the credits.
Okay, so let's go through pacing.
Yeah,
and I kind of briefed on that, but pacing, a lot going on in a very little bit of time. Trying to cram too much in, not a proper use of the time that they did have. A lot of lingering
short
shots.
Time that they had.
Yeah, unnecessary shots that could have been supplemented with proper character building and development. There's really not too much else to touch on there. I kind of did explain.
Yeah,
it
you already explained that pretty well.
Too much fan service. I touched on that too. That fan service sounds great, but there could be too much. And if your story and your movie is suffering from it, then maybe you would rather focus on a proper script and pacing before you go into the fan service. There were some fan service things in here I liked. I do like how they portrayed Umbrella in the orphanage at the beginning, where it had that umbrella.
Oh yeah, the mural or whatever.
Yeah, they had that mural of Umbrella. Propaganda. I like that. Yeah. Like they're warping the town.
They're making the kids trust them so that when they grow up.
Yeah, don't worry, you're safe here. You're safe with us, or something like that. It's
a lot of old governments used to do.
But I like that like deeper take on Umbrella. Like, oh, we get to see some of the propaganda. That's cool. And it starts at the orphanage, so you ingrain it in their minds young. Evil. I like that.
Yeah.
But then there was
I liked Umbrella throughout the whole movie, the way they had that. I like that. Yeah. They were I mean, they portrayed the company pretty well. Like they're
Yes.
pieces of shit, you know.
And I guess that can kind of lead us into the changing of the storyline, basically. So now it starts off in the orphanage, and Chris and Claire are in the orphanage together, and Lisa Trevor's also there.
I liked that actually. I didn't mind that.
I didn't mind that, but the thing with Lisa Trevor, again, I didn't mind it, but her story was so well told in the Resident Evil 1 remake that it's almost going to be hard to top.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I don't think this
But you gotta
movie
expect
tops
that,
that
though, yeah.
very depressing story of her. I think having her sort of work with them was cool. I think that was fine. Her
Right.
bit wanting a friend. I want a friend.
Right.
But her point, yeah. So,
Yeah, and if you never knew who Lisa Trevor was,
yeah.
what the hell is that thing? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
And I guess because they're doing so much, you can't go into all of it. But it's
Right.
just she had such a great story. And I think that kind of leads me to my main point that I didn't discuss. The old Resident Evil games were very cheesy,
yeah.
very campy, and the script writing that never excelled with the script writing,
No.
right?
Well, the story writing was good though.
The story was good, but the thing is, as a kid with those games, seeing a movie adaptation, even this, if this was 10-year-old JJ, I would have loved it because it had all those things I
Oh,
wanted to see.
yeah.
But we're talking now, we've already gone 25 years. We have remakes. And the thing is, at that time, with the fixed camera angles and the improper script writing and the cheesiness, seeing a movie would have been amazing. But now the games have been remade. Resident Evil 1 remake, Resident Evil 2 remake, the stories have been retold in a way that are much more cinematic. They are deeper, and they did it. They already did it right. You know, like that's the thing is now it's different than when I was a kid. Now the games have been remade, and they have done that.
And they've done that well.
They've done that incredibly well.
With
you know,
two of 'em.
technology has come so far with this, with what you could do with mocap and the
Oh my
actors
God.
giving their feelings and the cinematography
Yeah.
in games that like
And it's just as good as a movie.
it's done. Like they
Right.
did it, you know, and that kind of goes back to why retell it if you can't do it better than the games have done it. So then they blend the two games together. So yeah, Chris and Claire are in the orphanage, and Lisa Trevor's kind of like looking for a friend. They're experimenting on the kids, which I liked, and they had that in the Resident Evil 2 remake. I thought that was a really creepy feature that they had that file you find in the orphanage in the bathroom there. That was
What file?
there was a file that says that there was this kid that they were taking and they were experimenting.
Oh,
yeah,
oh, yeah.
basically.
I
And
think
so
I
that
fell
kind
asleep
of
during that part.
well, no, that kind of
Just kidding. I'm kidding.
yeah, I know. That kind of is the setup for the orphanage in this.
Yeah.
And then that was fine.
That was
And then
neat.
then we come back to Raccoon City, and it's a dying town now. It's not a big city, which I do like the smaller town. And I think that the more secludedness of it is how I kind of always viewed it. It's just kind of
It's a Midwestern
shut away.
town.
Yeah, Midwestern town. It's shut away from the rest of the world. So kind of an outbreak going on there. It just seems creepier to me. So I like that. But it was also like completely empty.
I wonder if they did that because of like COVID and everything. Like
Did what?
they couldn't have as much like extras, so they made it more of a dead.
Oh,
town.
yeah.
Because
And
of COVID, you know.
that
Like,
very well could be because the town is small, but it's also empty. I mean, they explain it in the movie
Right.
that it's a
No, I
dying
like
town
the-
and
yeah,
everybody's
I like
moving
that,
out.
but you know
But
what I
there's
mean?
like no people there.
right.
Yeah.
Like,
So maybe it was due to COVID or maybe it was due to the budget. I have no idea.
yeah.
But the thing is, I like this small town, but I also like the tight Gothic architecture of the streets and the chaos that goes on with the outbreak in the games. In this, there's
Yeah.
really no outbreak. I mean, there's an outbreak, but there's nothing. There's
like
what-
RE3, the city. It was like a city, and like it felt alive. Like
Yeah, this didn't feel alive, and there's shots in town where the streets are just completely empty after the outbreak. There's no crashed cars, nothing. Like it's
yeah.
empty, and that kind of like takes away from that Resident Evil 3 and Resident Evil Outbreak, their opening cutscenes of the chaos that takes place in Raccoon City. You don't get that with this.
Right.
There's so many thoughts I have, but yeah,
Me too. And it's like hard.
yeah. Let me go back to here now.
Yeah. Let's talk about.
Hold on, I'm not done with that yet.
What are you talking about, Still? What were we just talking about? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, we're going through the movie.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And we did elaborate on.
So we got to the town.
Cool, good story.
Yeah.
And then okay, so then we're talking about the changes to the story. We got to stay on.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so then we have Ben Bertolucci, who sends a video to Claire saying like there's something going on here. He is
How
sort
do
of
they
like
know each other? Oh, chat room.
chat room. Oh yeah, what's chat room?
What the fuck's that?
Yeah,
Remember
Chris,
that?
yeah.
I liked that. That was fun.
And his whole like sort of switch in how I didn't mind that. The fact that he's letting her know what's going on, it's in the water, and then she comes back to Raccoon City. I thought that was fine.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that. That was fine. And then Chris finds out his sister may have been accomplice to a hit and run, but and he's like, whatever, I gotta go to work. And then that's where we see our first zombie. We got the Itchy Tasty
that was
zombie.
before anything was really going down, too.
Yeah,
Hey,
it was,
what the
yeah.
fuck?
And then we got the zombie that comes up with the Itchy Tasty. I feel like that's what I mean by fan service for the sake of fan service. The whole Itchy Tasty on the window, and then when the zombie breaks through and attacks Claire, it just yells Itchy Tasty, Itchy Tasty. That's fan service for the sake of fan service.
Thinking about that though.
That's kind of disrespectful to the file that you find in Resident Evil 1 remake,
more meaningful.
which is much more meaningful. This just is there to say, hey, we did the thing that you remember.
Okay, so I think like how it's like super weird that she's just yelling it.
Yeah.
But like maybe she's trying to control herself still because she hasn't completely turned, and she's like fucking itchy and tasty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I get that.
I was trying to kind of.
It just the way
about
she
that.
screamed it in her face just kind of made
it
me
was
cringe.
cringy.
Yeah.
It was.
Also, there was a boy in there that Claire went to help, and she's like, "You need help," and then that's when the zombie broke through. But to that's kind of like a play to Sherry's part.
Yeah, of course.
But it just didn't have that weight behind it because whatever.
I
Anyways,
didn't mind that at all.
she bails on the house and leaves that kid to die.
Yeah, I didn't think about that until you told me that. on
Fuck
the
that
review.
kid, right? Yeah, I'm out. See ya. And then, she goes to head to the RPD, and she's just randomly sitting in an intersection, and William Birkin is also going to his laboratory to protect his sample, and she's just chilling there, and he stops his car, and they make this, like, really weird eye contact thing, like,
Well, they know what they're
did you
doing.
know he was gonna be there?
No, but they ran. I didn't mind that.
She was just sitting there.
I didn't mind that. I mean, yeah, it's a movie. Things like that happen.
I get it, okay.
I didn't mind that part.
But
at
she
all.
was just chilling in
It's
an
like-
intersection, and then he pulls up, and they make that weird eye
raised
contact,
her
and then...
basically, you know what I mean? So like, she's not gonna do anything about it, right?
Wait, what?
Right? Like,
No,
there's
I'm
more-
talking about...
Yeah, Birkin when they ran into each other
Yeah.
with the motorcycle. I'm saying like that's why they was just that.
I know why they put it in there, because...
No, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
I'm saying something. Well,
Okay.
You're stupid.
Toxic.
Let's fight. I'm just kidding.
But anyways, okay, then we come over to... Man, there's this movie just kind of changes perspective constantly.
Yeah, because it goes back and forth.
Yeah, it's
a
going
lot.
back and forth between Chris and the stars. And then we get to see Leon. I think that kind of goes into Leon's scene here where he wakes up in the apartment, in the hotel. He is hungover. He gets up, grabs a beer. And I like that because...
a warm beer.
I like that because that kind of goes back to the
Yeah.
lore in the original that you can find in the Resident Evil Archives book, that the reason why he didn't show up on the day is because his girlfriend broke up with him. He got drunk and overslept and ended up coming to work late. So I like that. And then it kind of switches over to the stars in a diner, in Emmy's diner. And they're kind of putting Wesker's putting a ketchup bottle on Leon.
That's funny.
And
That's
I thought that
cool.
was funny. I was like, okay,
That's
we
what
get to
people
kind
do.
of see the stars interact, and Leon's there. That's cool. They're working the night shift. I thought that whole part, I think honestly, the dynamic between the stars members
Was
in
great,
Emmy's
right?
diner and in the stars office was
Yeah.
good. It was fun to see them going together.
It's
And
$20, I can hit it off his head. And he shoots him and then throws
sure,
it.
yeah, I like that. It made me laugh.
And me too.
And that was before, like the movie kind of went too far
yeah,
with
it was
with
still good then. to me.
yeah. So it was still good at that point. And then you got the bird crashing into the window, and the waitress got the blood coming down here. And then we switch over. That's where they started making fun of Leon. So at first I liked that, but then
I like that because he's the rookie. You
yeah,
do that. You shit on the rookie.
that was fine.
The
but
new guy at work, you know?
because like I was saying, that was fine. But then it just kind of you'll see. Then it devolves.
Yeah.
It devolves. Yeah.
It just gets to fucking harassment
Yeah.
at some point.
Well, he's just an idiot. Like, it was funny for a minute, but then yeah. But anyways, then we go back to the RPD, and then Chief Irons comes in and
Love it.
and their whole dynamic in that office. I
Love
like
him.
that. And then Leon comes in, and he's like, Leon, what the fuck are you doing here? You gotta go work behind the desk. Who's
Yeah.
gonna answer the phones? And I was like, oh, they're
you doing
making
here?
they're making Leon the butt of the joke. He is the
First day he was late, they're gonna make him sit at the front desk.
he was the comic relief
Yeah,
of this
I
movie.
understand, like, a
But
movie,
that's what
yeah.
I'm saying is, like, that was, to me personally, that was very disrespectful to the character.
Very.
How he was just the butt of the joke. He was an idiot. This guy, basically he shot his partner and got thrown off the force, and because his dad has connections, he got sent to Raccoon City, and the whole time he just doesn't know how to hold guns. He doesn't know how to handle himself.
know.
It's like they made him a complete moron, and it was such a disservice to the character.
I like the character if it wasn't Leon.
Yeah, if it wasn't Leon, yeah.
I like, you know what I mean? That was.
It's
I don't know.
because, and it's like, okay, if this movie, because this movie had comedic elements, but then it also took itself seriously, and then it was also very campy. It's like, if you wanted to make a comedy, just do the whole thing as a comedy, and maybe I would be more willing to accept it. But the fact that it does that, and then you know what
Well,
I mean?
that's what the games were though too. It was kind of comedic and then scary.
I don't.
I
Think
think that's what they're trying to do.
I don't think it was meant.
It wasn't meant to
Yeah.
be, but I mean,
I get that.
I
I'm just
think that's what they're trying to get. I don't know.
yeah. Basically, I'm just trying to go off of that. Then
kinda,
we
yeah,
have the
scary.
outbreak in Raccoon City. The zombies come up, and we did discuss that. We do like that. You kind of shows you that middle ground in the zombies between
I love that.
getting infected and becoming a zombie, where
I
they
love
still
that.
retain some of their what they have.
Yeah, they still have
and
cognition.
yeah, they still are a bit cognitive, and I do like that as well, where they
love it.
like they're talking and it's really creepy.
Let me in. I
Yeah.
like that shit actually. I mean,
Yeah, no, I like that too.
Yeah.
And then we come over to that one scene though where Leon's passed out at the table there at the RPD. The semi crashes. That doesn't wake him up. That's fine, whatever. But then he's listening to that song. I can't remember what it
I
is
don't know what
offhand.
that song is.
And then it just turns up as the zombie just comes casually walking in the RPD on fire. And it was just one of those moments where I was like,
That was when we all threw our hands.
this is
up.
where we all in the theater threw our hands up. We're like, what the fuck?
Right.
It was just so cringe. And then Iron shoots him, basically tells
That
him
was
to put on.
cool, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we don't gotta
That
go
part.
through every
No,
single scene,
We don't.
but you know, let's just hit a few more
Irons
points.
was my favorite. I will say that.
I do like Irons. I
Out of
like.
anybody in the movie. He's my favorite.
I think he played the part that he was intended to play
Perfectly.
perfectly. One of the scenes I actually really enjoyed was him trying to leave town.
That was my favorite
He's
scene.
listening to Journey,
Of him.
and he pulls up to a blockade, and he's like, "What the fuck? Get out of the way, people!" And then all of a sudden, Umbrella just starts.
fucking mowing him
Yeah,
down.
you got the hunk and his team there, and they
Yeah.
just start blasting people. I thought that was cool. I was like, "That's terrifying, man."
That shows them like
That-
how
that-
corrupt.
yeah, like this is
It's
like
real.
hey, so he throws her in reverse, heads back to the station. But I like that scene a
I
lot.
loved that scene.
So I did like Irons.
That was the perfect mix between comedy and
Yeah, I guess. And he fit the character well. Like he was kind of sporadic.
yeah.
And he got a different take on the character that I liked. I
I
should say.
loved it.
But anyways, so then yeah, Leon a huge disservice, disrespectful to the character.
Yeah.
I thought Jill's take on being more trigger happy.
I
I
like
that.
that.
I did like that. Claire was fine. Chris was fine.
Yeah.
Richard Aiken,
Chad
I think
Rook,
Chad
yeah.
Rook played his part really well as Richard Aiken.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what other characters we got. We got a ton.
He was gone too early though.
He was gone way too early.
Yeah.
I guess the whole Spencer Mansion, walking into the Spencer
Beautiful.
Mansion was great. Then it kind of went to a few other shots. I don't know,
What?
like the hallways with the zombie head turn. I really liked.
Yeah.
I did.
tall.
Yeah, I really liked the zombie head turn.
I
But,
did too.
but then it kind of just went. They started, the zombies started coming at him. At first, it was really cool, but then that kind of drug on to, like Richard Aiken. Instead of being killed by a snake
Yeah.
or by the Neptune, they make a joke about it at the STARS office, and then he's just killed by zombies.
What was the joke at the STARS office?
Would you rather be killed by?
Oh yeah, by a great white shark. Or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Spoilers, by the way, everybody that's just tuning in.
But then yeah. So then you got the scene with Chris with the lighter. I
didn't like
I didn't like that scene because the zombie was getting closer and closer, and then all of a sudden it's gone, and then he lights it again, and it's behind him. It's like obviously that was meant to scare us, but at the same time, was
why-
that zombie smart enough to like go?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's what they're going. That's where we get back to that cognitive. Like they're still kind of
Yeah.
cognizant.
I
I don't know. I didn't like that part either though.
I do want to say though that liquor introduction.
Great.
I thought that was fantastic.
That was the best CGI in the movie.
You
too.
just that was the best CGI. The rest was very
very bad.
rough.
Very bad.
Rough. But that liquor coming in where you just see the lights, they look up and they see the lights moving, and then Lisa Trevor's like shh, and then all of a sudden Chief Irons like gets scooped up.
I'm pissed
I like that a
I'm
lot.
pissed that he just went.
He was I was like kind of wanted him to kind of stick around.
Uh-huh.
Then Lisa Trevor comes in and saves him, which
was
again
dope.
was fine.
I thought that was cool.
It was cool to see. It was a different take on her character, but then
Friend.
at the same time, is like they're building up that Lisa Trevor just wanted to be friends with Claire, and then she saves Claire, and then they just leave her. Like, okay, see ya. Thanks. Bye. Thanks for the keys. She gives them the keys so they can go down to the lab, and yeah, that was the end of that.
I didn't even think about it until you said that though. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that is kind of fucked up.
I think we pretty much covered like all the things we
Most
really
of the
wanted.
things we have on here. Did we talk about the soundtrack? Yeah.
Yep.
They cut a lot of things like X.
That's
We
the last
talked
thing I
about-
want to talk about. Yeah,
Did we
is
talk
they
about
did
that?
cut a lot of things. Leading up to the movie, we got all those set photos. We got Gunshop Kendo, and it looked great. It looked like the Resident Evil 2 remake version, but that never appeared in the film. Also, we got word that Mr. X was going to be in it. We even got pictures of Mr.
Yeah,
X.
I think Susie posted or somebody
Yeah,
did.
yeah, those were circling the internet, and never once did we get to see him like actually in the movie. I think they said his head was in a jar in Birkin's lab that I didn't catch.
I saw the picture of it.
Yeah, but we didn't get that. So there was a lot of things that I remember hearing and seeing beforehand that were not in the movie.
Right.
And again, I just think this movie would have been so much better if they focused on, Leon and Claire in the RPD and they were running from X and it was kind of more of a horror movie.
Yeah.
I think that pursuer element would have fit
they
really
just
well.
did what the RE2 remake did. I mean,
Yeah, but again, the RE2 remake kind of already did it. So yeah, I think that's kind of we wanted to elaborate more on some of the points we brought up during our initial review. I do think that our initial review is the best way to get our thoughts on this.
not
We just-
mine. I was sick.
Yeah, you weren't really talking much during that, but I think that's the best way to get really my basic points of this movie out. But this is just more of a discussion, kind of digging into it a little bit more. And then, like I said, we are going to be catching up with the super chats
Yeah.
here. I'm just trying to think because there's so much to talk
There's
about.
so much more to
that
talk
I could
about.
literally just go on, but I want to keep it sort of short. I don't want to go too
Right.
far over. What are we working with? Okay,
We've
36. Okay.
okay.
So let me just think. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all there is. Okay, so now we're gonna catch up with our super chats from our live stream we did
Last Wednesday.
Wednesday. Again, thank you guys all so much for the support. That stream was a blast. I appreciate
was.
you guys all coming by, and for the super chats, we appreciate that. Sorry we couldn't get to them all during that. There was a lot, so we are going to catch up with those now, and then all the super chats from today, we're going to add those to it. So thank you guys so much. We hope you enjoyed sort of more of this in-depth discussion. Like I said, we could have kept going.
I mean, we could talk about this for 8 hours.
Yeah.
If we want to.
So let me put this back up here.
I need to rewatch it though before I have like a final opinion though.
Yeah, and
because that pacing or going back and forth and everything. it's
Yeah,
hard to
it just
remember
jumps
it all.
around. But I think the biggest thing is the scripting and the pacing.
Bravo team only had 2 people.
Bravo team only had the 2 people.
and
Yeah.
they were both washed up cops. It looked like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then, like I said, the whole third act of this movie is completely rushed. I think the only laboratory we got in this movie was just that one shot in Birkin's lab where he's like, I got to protect my sample.
Yeah.
We went more into discussion about how he died, how he gets shot, and then Wesker gets shot in the previous stream. I think there would have been a lot more weight behind Jill shooting Chris. Or, I'm sorry. Oh, God. I think there would have been a lot more weight behind Jill shooting Wesker if they had more time to build their characters and their relationship they had. I think because it was so rushed, I didn't feel anything. I was just like, oh, okay, he's dead now. He was doing some bad shit, so that makes sense. But that kind of goes to my point of there's not enough time to focus on any of these characters to really build them. Yeah, and I feel like the games have already done it so well that you either gotta do it as good or better, and this just missed the mark on all the characters by trying to do too much.
Yeah, they tried too much. They did. That's
Again-
where it comes. And no Barry too.
Again, we did not like this movie. There's elements we enjoyed, but overall we didn't like it. But if you liked it, that's totally fine. Like I said, I'm happy for you. Please don't give anybody a
I
hard
didn't
time if they did
dislike
like it.
though.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm right in the middle. I mean,
well, you
it was a good watch. You know what I mean? I can't say I dislike it though. You know what I mean?
no, like I said, there's elements that
There's a lot of good and there's
Yeah.
a lot more bad. But
yeah.
if I had to rate it out of 10, I rate it at this moment, I'd give it probably right down the middle at 5.
Would you?
I probably would.
I was gonna say like a 5.5.
Yeah,
if I had to put a
5.5,
number on
right.
it.
Which
The redeeming qualities of this movie is yes, there's scenes and locations that are awesome to see on the big screen. You know, there's a shot of the RPD where it slowly zooms into Chief Irons' window as he's just looking out
so
at Raccoon City, and that was
So
amazing, especially with the score they had there. And then the shot where they're entering the
you could
Spencer
feel what he
Mansion.
was feeling.
Yeah, you could feel it, and the shot of them walking into the Spencer Mansion. Some of the retelling, like at the beginning with the orphanage and kind of how it goes into Raccoon City, that stuff's cool to see.
I thought I liked it more than you. You give it a 5.5 though.
Yeah, yeah. But like I'm saying, like there is elements that are good and worth seeing as a Resident Evil fan. The movie itself, though, as a whole, because of those 4 elements I talked about earlier, unfortunately, it suffers.
Yeah.
Again, that's just
Those are
our opinion.
The main
so.
things of a movie though.
Yeah, that's the main things of a
Pillars
movie.
of a movie.
And that's why I say, you guys, if you have the means, watch it. Make your own mind up. Like if you want to use our videos as a companion to kind of go over and see what other people are thinking, that's great. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't, make your own judgment. I always do that with movies. If it's a movie I really like, I go watch it, and then I go back to all the people that I like to watch on YouTube, and I watch their reviews to see if I agree or disagree.
I'll never watch a review before I watch a movie.
Yeah.
Unless it's something I don't really care about.
And I guess before we go to Ada's cameo at the end, because they did say, and that would kind of top it off. So we get that shot of the sort of like lab, the basement lab that we see in the Resident Evil 1 remake with that little light hanging over, and that body kind of raises up, it gets shot and it falls back over. Well, this time that body bag raises up and Wesker comes out. He's alive still.
That was a surprise to me.
Yeah, and he's like, what the fuck's going on? And he wobbles off of the table, and then Ada shows up and she just basically says like she says that like we brought you back so that you can work for us, basically.
Yeah.
You're working for us now. And then he goes to open his eyes. He's like, what'd you do to my eyes? And she's like, wear these. And she gives him the sunglasses. He puts sunglasses on.
Whatever.
And that was it. But I mean, like, honestly, there wasn't really enough of her to see if I liked it or not.
I forgot she did that.
Yeah.
I forgot about that part.
I mean, it kind of ruins the dynamic of...
She looked good. She had the...
Yeah, she had the trench coat and everything.
Dope.
And Wesker got his sunglasses. Everybody said he better wear the sunglasses. You got your moment.
Did he put them on? I don't remember.
He put them on.
He did, yeah.
I personally thought that was a little cheesy, but it does kind of suck that we didn't get that dynamic between Leon and Ada.
Yeah.
That was completely gone. That kind of...
And Leon and Claire, too, really. Oh, no, there was a lot of that.
Yeah, they had those. She was helping him out. Here, take this vest, and
like
you don't know how to hold that. Yeah. But I would have liked to see that dynamic between... That's kind of like a staple to the series is Ada and Leon. And if they do, like the director said that he does want to do a retelling of Resident Evil 4 as a movie next if this one does well. Originally it was Code Veronica, now he says he wants to do 4. With how much of an idiot Leon was in this movie, would 4 just be a comedy at that point of him bumbling around the village and
playing bingo?
Making shit jokes.
Right.
And then what about Ada? Like they had no ties in this movie. Then they would just bring. I don't know.
I don't like how he just got all of a sudden badass too.
At the very end, and I can accept this just because the games are kind of like this. But he comes in with a rocket launcher and shoots William Birkin as G, saves the day. Somehow Sherry doesn't die in that explosion, and somehow Chris is still alive. And he's like, "Where'd you get that rocket launcher?" And he's like, "Oh, I was up in first cabin." I was okay with that because I was like, all right, that's the games.
That's a game line right there.
Yeah, that's
you know what I mean?
But he comes back as the hero and saves the day. I don't think his character was really written properly to lead up to that big moment. It just felt like they gave it to him at the end. Like, here's your win, bud. Here's your W.
Yeah, he turned into a badass once he unloaded a clip on one zombie, basically. That's all it was.
Yeah.
Right,
Wasn't that Ben Bertolucci that he unloaded on?
Was it Ben? I thought it was one that killed...
Oh, it was the one that killed Ben. Yeah, it was the one that killed Ben. But yeah.
That was stupid, too. Like...
Yeah, I like the Ben Bertolucci scene with Leon if you look at Leon as the joke.
That's fine. But
yeah,
no, the zombie...
But then the zombie gets up and eats Ben when Ben had a gun right there.
And Ben was in the cell with him for how long?
Yeah.
And knew when he had the gun?
Actually didn't really mind that part too much.
That's stupid, though.
Yeah. But I again, Ben dies to a zombie now instead of Mr. X. A lot of these cool deaths we've gotten in the games, they were taken away and they were just replaced with simple zombie kills. Which, for a zombie movie, that would be fine, but because this is Resident Evil, and I honestly think Resident Evil focuses more on BOWs than it does zombies, to see some more of the BOWs, like that liquor scene was crazy cool. To see more of that kind of stuff would be cool, but it was just replaced with zombies.
It seemed like they were hinting at a hunter, and then they never showed a
hunter.
They
did. There's a lot of plot threads that open up that never go anywhere. Where Sherry...
the green...
Yeah, I seen this green thing with the yellow eyes or something looking through the window, and I was like, fucking hunter, let's do it.
And then it made it sound like it sounded like a hunter kind of.
Yeah, it was building something, but there was nothing there. Then they basically get in the car, but yeah. Okay, we got to get to these super chats.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so this is our super chats catching up from our actual review we did on Wednesday. So to everybody watching, we're just going to read through these. Thank you, guys.
Starting with Cascades.
Yeah, Cascade, he says, no Kendo because Kendo's Cut is canon. I agree. If you guys haven't watched Kendo's Cut, it is a fantastic fan game made by Resident Evil Nemesis 30. Please go watch that. It's so good. We got Coolor with a $5. Thank you, Coolor. He says, yo, Ink Ribbon and Sphere Hunter. Love y'all. So surprised you to our guests. I'm gonna write my own reboot and fully focus on the mansion incident. Even if you focused on one thing, I think you could write a better movie than trying to cram so much into one. So thank you for that, Koo. We got, let's see if they can see it right. Yeah.
Got it?
Sharif King Jr. with the $5. Thank you. Hey, it's Ink Ribbon. When I first saw Lisa Trevor in the trailer, I thought that was Alexia. Every creature was definitely a letdown. Yeah, Lisa. Yeah. Like, yeah, we already kind of went over that. But they did have that scene of Code Veronica where that scene was cool. That was really well done. Cool. Yeah.
I missed that part, but I watched it afterwards.
Jeremy Pryor with a $20. Thank you so much, Jeremy. Hey, all. Hope you had a great time tonight. That time was fantastic.
We had a great
That was a highlight. Like, one of the coolest things I've ever done in my life is to get to meet everybody and go see the movie.
And they were all so nice. I loved them all.
Yeah, seriously. Like, we made a lot of friends that night, those 3 days that we were there. Such a fun trip, and we hope to do that again, to get together with the content creators, the Resident Evil content creators more, and just continue like bringing on more people and doing more with community. And I think it's just it's good for the community to do these like hangouts and meetups and everything
for everybody. I would think, because like
Yeah.
I enjoy watching people collaborate and stuff.
Yeah.
too, for like people that are watching too.
and they're like friends to us. They like the same things that
That's
we
what I'm
like.
saying,
Yeah,
right? It was so much fun, dude.
it was super cool experience. We got Carrier a Raccoon City Story with a $50 super chat. My man, thank you so much for that very generous super chat, Carrier. I think Raccoon City wasn't shown enough. Let me scroll up.
Regardless
size, which I think it was too small. I didn't show any of what the interpretation of the RC was like. Despite leaks, no gun shop, kendo either. Raccoon City is just as much of a character as Chris and Leon. And I can completely agree with that, where I liked the smaller town, but it was just empty and it was dead. Like there was no people, there was no chaos for the outbreak. It was just empty streets.
How many zombies do you think there even was? Like 20?
Yeah, I mean,
total?
what did somebody made a comment in our last one is like, there's only like 10 zombies at the front gate. Yeah, just kill those 10 zombies and you're good, dude. Like, that's a whole town right there. And yeah, man, we didn't get any of like this panic or crazy outbreak in the street. Yeah, and Raccoon City is a character, just as much as the Spencer Mansion or the RPD. And yeah, I would have liked to see more of that too.
100.
Wolf Griffin with a $13 super chat. Thank you so much, Wolf. Don't refund anything. It's nothing new for us. We expect destruction. Just glad to help the channel and get awesome streams. Seems like this movie confirms time traveling kendo.
I think Tony said something about refunding. I'm like, that when we were streaming.
But that's back to Kendo's Cut. Time traveling Kendo.
Yep.
That's another reference to Kendo's Cut. You guys gotta watch Kendo's Cut.
Watch JJ's live on that.
I got part 1 and 2. It's great.
It's actually pretty funny. I watched
Silver
it.
Eye with a $5. Thank you so much, Silver Eye. Now that I think about it, if Resident Evil 3 were to be made into a film, some people would see it as a Terminator ripoff. That's okay. With the pursuer stalking.
Right.
I mean, if it's told...
I mean, the Nemesis...
I mean, like, look at...
Nemi kind of is a Terminator. I mean, that's pretty much exactly what he is.
And you can retell a story that's already been told. I mean, look at... was it Taxi Driver?
Yeah.
And the Joker.
Yep. What?
Was it Taxi Driver that was
yeah.
very... Okay, yeah. It's a very similar
De Niro.
story. Almost scenes that are almost identical. The thing is, though, you can do that and write your own original story that follows the same beats that something else followed if you have proper script writing and acting and pacing. And, there's ways you could do a very similar film as something else. I mean, Terminator could be considered a ripoff to something similar. I mean...
I'm sure there's something for
it,
too,
there's always movies with those stalker elements.
I think there's only it's like a proven thing. There's only like 16 different like plot lines you can do in a movie or
and
whatever.
I've seen that before. That at the end of the day, if you really chip away at the movie, there only is a certain amount of styles you can have. Basically, there's a word for it.
There is a word. I can't think of it either.
But I still think that would have been cooler to focus on that sort of stalker vibe from Mr. X.
No.
Or oh well.
Or Kendo.
Or Kendo.
I'm just kidding.
Lanny 109 with $82 super chat. Thank you so much, Lanny. Was there a reason the RPD officers' immunity? Was there a reason for the RPD officers' immunity?
Yeah, the stars they all had.
They made a simple reference to you might have got shot or took a little pill that you thought was for headaches, but
they still needed them. Is what I think. I think Chief was in on it.
That was kind of another plot point that they didn't really expand on. Like there was a reason why the RPD officers didn't turn into zombies, because Umbrella may have slipped them something somewhere along the lines.
Yeah.
But why?
because they still needed to use them for something.
For what?
For this reason, to go to the Spencer man. I don't.
That's what I'm saying.
There's something.
That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, so
I
they
thought
gave
of
them
it
immunity, but why?
I think I thought of it before, and I had a really good explanation when we
Well,
were in
I
Vegas.
didn't get an explanation in that movie.
I told you it in Vegas.
Yeah. But yeah, so they did explain it very loosely, and it kind of went nowhere. Seth Boothroyd with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much, Seth. Hey guys, we talking about spoilers? Help me know if I should save my money and tell me if we see Nemesis or not. You do not see Nemesis, and
Or do you? No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I would say that if you don't have the means to spend the money, wait and see if it comes out on streaming services. But as a Resident Evil fan, I think it's worth watching to formulate your own opinions.
I mean, even if it was like the worst Resident Evil movie, I would say go see it if you have the money. I mean,
yeah, I just don't know.
You
though.
know what I mean?
At the same time, like I don't want to encourage more
yes,
sloppy films
sales.
like this. Yeah, like I don't want them to think.
I gotcha. I gotcha.
We got 0 hour discussion with JM. Hail everyone. This panel is better than the movie. Should have been titled Outbreak. Instead, I'll stick with the animations, which are 1,000% better.
Oh, the CG films.
The CG films, yeah, I do like the CG films. I do like those, but like I said, it goes back to the games have already been remade and their stories have been expanded on, and the way that technology has come, that like we've already got these stories told so well in the games, like why bother? As a kid with the original games, yes, let's see a movie, let's see a film adaptation, but now it's like they're already doing it. I mean,
already 2 remake already did it.
Yeah,
basically.
And Resident Evil 3 remake, say what you will about the game itself, the acting and the characters was
great,
top. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Very good.
And it's like, okay, so
yeah,
what do you want to do? We already got actors playing these people in games, giving their emotion.
They should just have them do CG.
Yeah.
They should have the characters that are in the game, like Nick as Leon.
Yeah.
Nicole as Joe. You know what?
But they already did it in the game. You know.
Why wouldn't they do it in a movie or a CG though?
I don't know. Ask him. I don't know.
Okay, I'll ask him.
Riker Alvin with a $5. Thank you, Riker.
So small.
Hey y'all. Thanks to all of you for doing this stream. Y'all need more collaborations like this. Cheers and happy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much, man. Happy
Thanksgiving.
Belated Thanksgiving. Yeah, we definitely want to do more in the future and work with other Resident Evil content creators and just kind of make like a big thing, annual thing with it. Where we all get together and do panels and stuff. It'd be so much fun.
Or even more than that.
Or even more.
Maybe a daily thing. No, I'm just kidding. I'll just move in. We start a row house. All the Residents of Evil.
The Residents of Evil. we real guys. We're gonna start a campaign today to raise money to rebuild the Spencer Mansion, so we can have our Residents of Evil, and then we can take on all the Resident Evil content creators. And we can all live there. And...
Yep. You can be Jake Ball.
Oh my God! Why did you say that? Oh. Okay.
All right. Next one. Thank you.
And then we got Artie McFly with a $2. Thank you, Artie. All you guys on cam will appear in Vigil, calling it. Some of us, yeah.
Oh.
Some of us will. We got that demo coming out this month. Ooh, I'm excited.
Oh, dude, that demo.
That demo looked really good.
What do you mean you played it?
It's not done yet.
No, I know, but
no, that was just a video. I didn't get that build yet.
Oh.
We got. I'm sorry if I mispronounce this.
Naisa.
Naisa Metal.
No, that's not it, but that's. Sorry.
Naisa Metal with a 200 MXN super chat. Thank you so much, Naisa. Big fan, guys. We are a death metal from Mexico and have a current live session in our channel with 3 songs, and one of them is called Caliban Cove.
Cool.
And it's based on the current events and inspired on the SD Perry book. That's awesome, man. I will definitely check that out. That is badass. And thank you. I'm glad you like our content. It's cool to see metal music inspired by Resident Evil.
Heck yeah.
Adazukin with a $5. Thank you so much, Adazukin.
Yeah,
My love goes out to Lisa Trevor. Poor girl was experimented on with the progenitor virus, T virus, and G virus, abandoned by only her friend twice. Yeah, right? Her only friend, Claire, abandoned twice. Claire ran away when she was little. Then she just left her again.
I don't think they were really friends.
That was like the thing, though.
No, but I know.
And she saved her. No, I mean, at that point, if somebody saved me from that fucking liquor, I'd be like, yeah, friend, definitely friend.
100%.
We're friends. You come with me.
That was actually pretty badass.
I'm going to do some more sketchy shit, so I need you with me, friend.
Remember when the actress, the mocap, or that Lisa Trevor, the actress, was like
jumping on walls
and shit? I was like, that's gonna be so dumb, but it was actually kind of cool.
Well, she didn't do that in the movie.
Well, no, not really, but kind of. Yeah.
So when
she kind of did though.
No, she didn't. She didn't jump on walls and do all that. She was just standing on there and she choked it.
She jumped on it.
It wasn't the same.
But still.
It was much more Alice looking with the action in the original actress posted that
Yeah.
video of her
No, I
jumping
know.
on walls and stuff.
Right.
They had her fight in the liquor, but it wasn't like that. in
Right.
this.
I know. I'm just saying.
Hmm.
That's what I was saying.
Okay, scrolling up. Silver Eye. Oh, we actually caught up. Silver Eye with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Silver Eye. What are your thoughts on the upcoming Dead Space remake, Negative Atmosphere, and Celestial Protocol? We have not played Negative Atmosphere or
Callisto Protocol.
Celestial Protocol.
Callisto.
I-
Callisto Protocol is supposed to be really good.
A lot of people have been saying that. I originally didn't think that a Dead Space remake was necessary. I thought the original game holds up, and we actually just played it, and it does hold up.
We're finishing it tomorrow.
We're finishing it tomorrow, yes. We're going to be live tomorrow. But with that being said, after they started showcasing some of the improvements they made and that they're taking direction from the Resident Evil 2 remake, I was like, oh, actually, maybe that could work. Maybe I'm more open to the idea now.
It looks
and it looks great. So they're doing it regardless. So why not try to keep an open mind about it? And then if it comes out and it's shit, then we'll hit shit. I think it'll be fine. Yeah. But we're finishing one tomorrow. And then now we'll catch up with the super chats we received today. So thank you guys so much for we're gonna just catch up from the super chats from last one, but you guys are have supported us during this too. So thank you guys so much.
Yeah. Hell
All right, let me pull this up here. Okay. Holy crap, you guys! Thank you.
Jesus.
The one and only W. We read that with a
Read
2 hour.
that.
Chevy needs to come back. Agreed.
That was it, though. Yep. And then
The
ultimate
Danielle with a $30 super chat. Thank you so much, Danielle. Let me move this off of here.
Danielle says, "Sorry, I've been out of the loop. Here's some love."
Well, thank you so much, Danielle. And
Yeah.
now we're glad to have you actually back. 'Cause,
Heck yeah, we missed you.
Yeah. Let me I'm just gonna pull up so they can actually see what we got here.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's nice.
So nice.
See y'all.
Ooh,
And then perfect. I will pull this back up. All right, now you guys can kind of see where we were at here. The ultimate okay. And then we got Lucas Severin with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Lucas. He says, "Can't stay for long. I'm driving on off-road dump truck." Well, that sounds fun, man.
Heck yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, you have a good time, and thanks for stopping in your support, dude.
Dump some stuff.
New retro reviews. Road team member Tony
Tony.
with a $2. Thank you, Tony. He says,
Do
"They
his voice.
done fucked it up." Wait, they done fucked it up.
It's like very.
I don't know.
I can't do a Boston on that.
Yeah, Tony had his review out actually too. So if you want to hear Road Team member Tony's thoughts, he put out his own review.
That's what his initial reaction was.
I think all of us he disliked it the most.
Yeah.
And then Beggy liked it the most.
Yes.
Yeah, they were at
They
the
were the
opposite ends of the
polar-
spectrum. Again, I never hated it. I just didn't like it. I thought the film.
Did Bob get to see it yet?
No, I don't think so.
I'm curious to see what his thoughts are.
Me
gonna
too. Pat Kills Kenny with a $5. Thank you, Pat Kills Kenny. The movie made me laugh hard. I didn't expect the heavy Easter eggs, like the liquor scene referencing the liquor beta scene from OG Resident Evil 2. I like that. Like I said, there is good elements. They're sprinkled in there. Again, to the comedy moments. If this movie was just a comedy movie, I would have been okay with it. Like I'd been like, okay, that's what they're doing. That's their own thing. But because it was trying to like be faithful and like it was just too much. You know, it's like Leon's the butt of the joke and yeah. The comedy though, like it was funny.
I
like
liked
there was
Leon's
moments
character.
where it was funny.
So I liked Leon's character if it wasn't Leon. I'll say that again.
That's the best way to put it. I like Leon's character in there if it wasn't Leon. Yeah.
And Avon's a great actor.
He is, yeah. He nailed the role that they were trying to have him do perfectly.
Yeah.
It's just the way he was written was the problem.
Sorry, it's for the writer, but not.
Yeah. Wolfenstein 91 with $5. Thank you, Wolfenstein. To your point about what non-serious fans thought, you'd be surprised to find that some of them loved it based on the comments I've seen. To each their own. That's great. Again, anybody that likes this movie, I'm happy for you. You got what you wanted.
Yeah.
And
hell yeah.
I was curious. Like, if you're not a Resident Evil fan, what did you think of it?
Yeah.
Evan with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Evan. I think I would have been best just to have the RE1 story as a flashback sequence instead of combining the story with Resident Evil 2. And
that's what we were theorizing.
That's what we were theorizing would happen. Yeah, and that would have made
more sense.
That would have fit because then they would only had to tell a segment of that, and they could have focused more on the story of Resident Evil 2.
I don't think it's gonna pop up.
Just read that. Okay, Squiddies with a $5. Thank you, Squiddies. I love the credits. They were well paced and could read the names. 10 out of 10. Those credits though. Those are some good credits.
Silver lining in it. Or
Yeah.
Is that they're saying? Yeah.
Always find the silver lining. I think that's how you reference it. Yeah. Resi fan with a $2. Thank you, Resi fan. Made Leon look lame. He was always an authority in Resident Evil 2.
Man.
Yeah, they kind of did disrespect to his character and his whole arc.
Cuck.
Cock. Cascade with a $5. Thank you, Cascade.
Kendo's cut canon in this movie.
That's why nothing's right and all the characters aren't where they're supposed to be and there's no Kendo. It's explained.
Oh, he's hiding in
It all
places
makes
and stuff.
sense. Resident Evil, dude, he nailed it with that. Kendo's cut. We dealt with time travel. We opened the multiverse, and this is what we got.
Whoa.
Man, that makes all the sense.
He knew.
Lonely Warrior with a 2,500 CLP. Thank you so much, Lonely Warrior. Excuse me. Let me take a drink of water.
Guys, even RE4D Executioners was better than this wannabe RE movie.
That was great. I like that. You know what I really would have liked to see?
I don't even know what that is. What's RE4D?
I'll show you after. We'll go over it.
Is it like Shrek
it's an
4D?
older CG thing that came out.
Was it like Shrek 4D when they sneezed on you?
Yes.
Is it?
No.
Oh.
I'll show you later.
Okay.
No, even the pilot episode that was pitched to Netflix, Resident Evil Arclay,
Yeah.
also known as Dave.
So good.
It was so good. I would love to
So
see that. It was
fucking good.
it followed a Detective Reinhardt as he investigates homicides that lead to him unraveling Umbrella's conspiracy. And it was much more of like a detective film. During the beginning of the outbreak in the Arclay Forest, and it just had such a good premise
And
that
the
I would have loved
cinematography.
to see the cinematography and
He's
the
great, yeah.
acting. It was great. But I posted this on Twitter about Dave, aka Arclay. The director hasn't moved on, and he's a huge Resident Evil fan. And the Row is currently working with him, and my boy Rob, to develop our own short film titled The Keeper. So if you guys are not aware of the film we are working on, check it out on YouTube. Residents of Evil, The Keeper. It's going to be dropping to our channel once that does release in the future.
Row exclusive.
Matt Valentine with a €5 super chat. Thank you so much, Matt. Between the first Anderson movie and Welcome to Raccoon City, which do you prefer in terms of screenplay? I'm not going to answer that right now because this movie did make me want to go back and watch the first film. And I can say that I do appreciate the first film had a different style and take on the games, and it went with it. And I appreciate that.
I don't remember those films. I was young.
And I also remember that the first film, to me personally, was the best out of all of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and watch that, and then I can compare it and answer your question.
Yeah, I need to watch them all.
Yeah,
I haven't even seen them all.
I did think about that. I did think about that quite a bit, actually. And I think I had a poll up, a 3-day poll. It got over 3,000 votes.
Oh.
What do you prefer now that it's out, the 2002 version or the 2021 version? And guess what was in the lead last I checked?
I'm sure.
It was the 2000 version, which
sure.
blew my mind. I was like, whoa.
No,
okay.
I could see that. People are kind of pissed, you know.
Yeah, they feel a little burnt.
Oh, yeah.
Nariko96 with a $2 CHF super chat. Thank you so much. For me, this movie is disrespectful to the games, and I can see how you would think that. I definitely can understand that.
In a way, yeah.
TGV with a $5. Thank you so much, TGV. Hey, JJ and Corey, good to see you guys. Missed you guys. We missed you too, TG.
Yeah.
And before I forget, special shout out to Jesse Duel.
Yes.
Jesse Duel,
He bought us drinks.
he bought us drinks while we were down in Vegas. He sent it to Corey, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, Jesse bought us drinks. Thank you, Jesse."
That
I was
was
like,
awesome,
"That was
dude.
so fucking nice of him."
That
We
was
got to make sure we
awesome.
give him a little special shout out on
We
the
were going to
stream.
take a video, but we forgot.
We forgot to take the video, so that's why I wanted to say that now
Yeah.
before I forgot. TGV with another $5. Thank you again, TGV. The end city explosion scene made no sense. I could not tell what happened. So
it made sense to me perfectly.
the end
You
scene,
didn't like it
instead
right
of
away.
being the nuke, it was an implosion. Basically, the lab and all of Umbrella exploded underneath
Yeah.
Raccoon City, and it kind of all just
that would make way more sense
Sunk in.
real life. That's what that would be there.
yeah. But I also
Isn't that from the books or something?
seeing the nuke hit Raccoon City is kind of iconic. Resident Evil 3,
yeah.
then the Resident Evil 3 remake. We also see it
know.
in Outbreak. To not see that,
What about the cow?
so the from what I understand, it imploded.
Yeah.
But there's a scene where the shockwave hits and the cow kind of levitates,
Yeah.
and then it explodes.
Yeah.
So what was that? Was that
It's an atom bomb
It
underground.
was okay.
You never seen videos of that in real life?
No.
Remember, I watched it the other day actually, before like a couple weeks ago.
So that was the
Yeah, they had a
that was
bunch of-
imploding.
Yeah,
Okay.
they had it all. That was their fail safe.
So see, I didn't fully understand it either. So I'm glad
I think
we
it was in
got-
the books or something. Somebody was saying.
Okay, I read the books. I don't remember that, but yeah.
Somebody said it was based off of something. So
I think they were talking about the floating cow
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
But that was part
A
of it.
reference to it.
I think it was Kai, yeah.
Word XXI with a $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Word XXI. They should have made a show instead based on Resident Evil 1. Agree.
A series?
If told better.
They should have just did the whole thing in a series, yeah.
I think so. I mean, if they wanted to put so much into this, it needed to be longer and it needed to be told better.
Yeah.
Mr. Nice Chai with a $20.
Mr. Nice
Thank you so
Chai.
much, Mr. Nice Chai. Says, don't forget to like the stream, everyone. Rose Squad Alpha Team, thank you for your support, dude. We appreciate that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, if you guys like it, like it. If you don't like it, dislike it. Yeah, do whatever you want. Do whatever the fuck you want.
Don't hit me in the face.
Then we got Inner Chakra with a $5. Thank you so much, and I'm sorry
Chakra.
if I mispronounced that.
Chakra.
Loving the stream. Are you guys hyped for the Resident Evil Netflix series? So they did just recently.
Well, yeah, now.
Yeah. Okay. So when the synopsis dropped about the Resident Evil Netflix series,
Yeah.
Wesker and his
I'm not-
daughters,
never
I was
been a
like,
fan of that.
not interested at all for the fact that this sounds like a CW teen drama.
Yeah, Riverdale.
Not for me. I'll watch it, but not for me. Don't care. Then they released the Cerberus, the CG for the Cerberus, and the official logo the other day, and I was like, that looks fucking good, dude.
That Cerberus look amazing.
It looked
dude.
amazing, and I was like, wait, what if they do the Netflix thing where it surprises you with a really good show, and it just so happens to be Resident Evil, and it's actually way better than any of us expect? That was the thought that crossed my mind.
Yeah.
But I am still.
Oh, I'm gonna be leery on that until it comes
Yeah, I'm gonna
out.
be very, very leery. Yeah.
Because I mean, that's the only thing that excited me though, is the CG dog.
That CG dog, yeah, and the
one
logo. I
still.
thought the logo was pretty dope. It was really
don't-
clean and
it's clean, but I don't like
yeah.
it.
Yeah, I gotcha. We got Nemesis for the win with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much, Nemesis, for the win. Welcome to Raccoon City takes risks, and some land and some don't. I wonder if COVID played a role with the amount of zombies we see. As you said, that's what he said earlier. I also don't like that Paul was attached to this as an executive producer. $25 million budget is laughable. It's low, but it's also proven that you can do a lot with a little bit.
Invest a little though. You're starting off a franchise. You're trying to.
Honestly, though, like if the script writing and pacing is there,
Yeah, true.
I
you
don't
don't
mind bad CG and you know what I mean. Like if the movie itself has the core elements are right, I don't mind the lower
Yeah.
budget.
Oh yeah, 25 is enough to do it.
Yeah, 25 is enough to do it.
If you have the good script, right?
And
Sorry.
that is caught up here.
Yay! But we got more.
And then let me just make sure we don't.
We got lots more, I think.
Holy crap, you guys! Thank you so much.
And
Wow.
yeah.
Let me just
Wow.
refresh here. Refresh.
I want to watch the movie again though. Just so I can,
Yes, I definitely want to see it again and formulate my thoughts a little better.
and not just a cam rip of it,
The camera.
which I did watch, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's hard to watch.
Where do we leave off here? Right here.
Nemesis, yep.
Now
Now we're on Nero.
Nero Redwood with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Nero Redwood. Would have loved to see Jill's PTSD in Resident Evil 3 Remake used more. Agree. I thought that was such a much more... It added so much more weight
Love
to the
it.
character. It was a much more realistic take. And even in Resident Evil 3, that was about the extent of her PTSD we
It
got.
shows the gravity of the whole situation.
The
how
whole
fucked up they
and
get
what
from
it does to a normal
Could
person.
you imagine going through that
Yeah,
shit,
you
right?
got pills laying out. Like, I love that. I was
Me
like,
too.
so much
Deep.
potential. And then, nowhere.
I love it.
Would have loved to see that, yeah. Maybe sequences where we have to revisit the Spencer Mansion or fight a zombie Carlos. The remake would have been so much better. Are we talking about Resident Evil 3 or the movie? Because that
I don't know. I think you're talking about
the
or-
game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
think
I
they are.
that zombie Carlos scene too, where she imagines him as a zombie. I thought that was cool too because it kind of goes into her PTSD.
Yeah.
But yeah,
She imagined herself as a zombie too.
yeah, at the beginning, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the thing with that though is again, if they wanted to make money as a company, why not just do each game as a movie and just add proper script
on.
writing? Hire somebody that can write a script. There's
Right?
fans that like freaking Resident Evil Arclay.
Yeah.
Well written little post there by a fan.
I think you
There.
could have wrote a better one.
And then Leon does this because Leon is the best character ever. And then he says this epic hero thing. And then he does this. and then he
I'm a human.
has me writing.
I'm a human. I can't even do it.
And then TGV Monster with a $5. Thank you, TGV. Would you guys ever do anything with Resident Evil creators like on Twitch, like Bach and Wolf
Hell
TNT?
yeah.
Fucking A. I actually messaged Bach before we said that we wanted to do something together in the future. And with our meetup in Vegas, I would have loved to have, because people are like, why didn't you invite this person? Why didn't you invite this person? It's like, I would have loved to have all these people, guys, but we literally planned this with like less than a month.
Yeah.
And we already were working with these people with our Outbreak stream. Like we were
Yeah.
already coordinating that. the Outbreak streams we
Yeah.
did. Like, well, let's just ask them, and because a lot of them already live there too, so that's why. But yes, in the future, we'd love to work with more creators and actually get to meet up with more creators.
Hell yeah, dude.
100%.
I loved it.
Megan Samson with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much, Megan. I was actually disappointed. The new RE movie, it was all over the place. They should have just kept the first game instead of combining 1 and 2. At least they got the atmosphere down.
They
Yes.
did get the atmosphere down. Yeah, that's only good.
And
really,
I think that was our mistake with this live stream. Is at first we did touch on like the problems, but then we started breaking it down, and then we didn't finish breaking it down.
Yeah.
But at the very beginning of the stream, we hit on like pretty much all the things
Everything.
that really just made it not work.
We
for
went
us.
through a whole list, baby. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that, Megan. And then we got Fadil Fauzi with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much, Fadil. He says a
6-episode miniseries to cover the Spencer Mansion will be ideal to start a successful franchise because it's hard to cover a 26-year legacy in a few movies. Happy holidays, everyone.
happy holidays, my friend, and I agree. I agree. I think Netflix has now proven that you can have a very successful show and a well written, well paced series.
I mean,
you know, it's proven it. It's Squid Game. I can name a
Stranger
million.
Things.
Yeah,
all of them.
it's just like
There's so many more.
there's so many more. But anyways, it can be done.
They're like the top. Of
Yeah,
the line.
it can be done, and that's, you know, and if you want to break down Resident Evil and tell it like that, I just, you know, that would make more sense with how much source material you have. Yeah. And then MJ1 Media with a $2. Thank you so much, MJ1. I'd make a better film, but that'll be my own story. And I mean, definitely.
I'm sure a lot of people could.
I'm sure a lot of people want to now.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing actually.
To the movie though,
Give people, I don't know,
creativity. It's
light a fire under them, so they're like,
light a fire under their asses. They can do some creative Resident Evil
if
stuff.
that guy can do it, you know, yeah.
But I am grateful we did get a Resident Evil movie. You know, there's a lot of properties like Silent Hill that have just been dormant, and I feel bad for that community because that had such a good series, and then it just devolved. And
What
then
did you say? I missed it.
okay,
No, what series?
Silent Hill.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and then it just kind of devolved, and now they get nothing. And I'm thankful we have a healthy community. I'm thankful we're getting a movie.
Yeah.
But if the movie is not good, I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to tell you guys it's not good. I didn't mean for this to be a rant or a bitch. I don't like that stuff. I personally like to talk about things I enjoy.
Yeah.
But there was a lot to break down and some other elements we wanted to discuss. And like I said, it wasn't all negative. We had a few good aspects. But I just had to explain, you know, people do ask, like, what's your opinion? We already did the review, but now you can get a little bit more of my ideas and why I think the way I think. And
I
why
think our thoughts are basically what most of the communities think. There are a lot of them.
a lot
you
of
know
them.
what I mean?
But again,
So-
like I said, too, guys, go make your own
yeah,
opinions.
and don't follow other people's opinions.
Yeah, don't
be
take
afraid
somebody
to-
else's opinion
Don't be
as
afraid to express your own.
gospel.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then with that, be respectful towards one another. If somebody likes it, awesome. Let them like it. If somebody doesn't like
Hell
it,
yeah.
don't tell them they're wrong, because everybody has opinions. And the one thing about opinions is opinions aren't wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but just be nice to
yeah.
each other. MJ1 Mito with a $2. Thank you so
You
much.
already
I read
read
that.
that.
And then TGV with a $2. Thank you so much, TGV. Again, is there a GoFundMe for the Keeper Short? Not yet, but we will be starting one. We'll be doing a GoFundMe or a Kickstarter. The reason why that's kind of been postponed a bit is because that came out right when the big C word kind of hit hard, and filming and all the things we wanted to do, that was put on hold. And so we're like, okay, we're just going to take a little temporary break until things open up a little bit more and we can kind of get back to what we were doing. But that was a long talk.
I think the movie was more disappointing than RE3.
You think the movie?
Yeah.
yeah.
I was like, that's a good question. I think it was more disappointing for me. RE3 still was fun.
I think the movie was
pretty
worse than Resident Evil 3, but at the same time, like, if anything's gonna be good,
You want the games.
you want the games to be
I
good.
mean, that's
And that's why I think I'd have to disagree and say that I
They're
think the
pretty
game was
close,
more
though.
disappointing just for the fact that 2 Remake was fantastic and 3 Remake missed the mark. Again, for me personally, but that's why, like, if a movie comes out and it's not good, I'm disappointed, but it's, at least I have the games. Whereas if a game comes out and it's not good, I'm like, oh shit, that
Yeah.
was kind of the thing. You know, that was the main thing.
Yeah, I'm surprised they did that though. They should have had the same team.
Yeah,
They
that was
really should
that was
start-
the
I mean,
problem with outsourcing.
I don't really want to knock that other team.
Yeah.
but
but get it together.
yeah, I'm gonna knock you a little.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think that's pretty much all
That's
we
it.
wanted to cover. We wanted to catch up with the super chats. Say thank you. Elaborate more on some of our thoughts. I'm curious to know what you guys are thinking about the movie. I'm sorry we couldn't talk with everybody in the chat. So if you guys want to comment down below, again, I read our most of our comments
Yeah, we did that
on
on
our
plane.
last review were fine. There were other comments that were incredibly rude
Terrible.
and disrespectful to other community
It was
members.
terrible.
Be nice to each other, you guys. Like,
Yeah,
God,
why?
God damn, we're all in this together. But no, like, just when you go to make a comment, let us know how you feel, but be nice to each other.
Yeah.
That's all we ask.
Like, come on.
let's-
Imagine reading some of those comments about you. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
Yeah, come on, guys. We're all people, and we're all Resident Evil fans. Doesn't matter when we came in or what. We're on the same
Yeah.
team. So, let us know down below what you guys thought of Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City. Let us know what you guys are thinking about. Just whatever you want. That's fine. I just like going
tell
through.
us what you ate for dinner.
Tell us what
We
you
don't
ate for
care.
dinner. Yeah. Comment down below.
Nemesis tea, yummy. No,
Uh,
I'm just kidding.
yeah, I don't know. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. It was a lot of fun. I like to just randomly have these casual conversations
Yeah.
where we can kind of just chat.
At a
you
different
know?
time, different day. too,
Different
so
time, different date.
Other people can jump in. And
We got road team member Baggy and Tony in the chat. So thank you guys for coming to hang out.
heck yeah.
Tony says, "Be nice, fuckers," or deal with me. But yeah, guys, you guys have a great day, and we'll see you guys tomorrow when we go live with Dead Space. It's been a lot of fun, and we'll see you. We hope to see you guys back at the Residence Evil. Good day, everybody.
Good eye, mate.
Good night.